I had been depressed and suicidal from a really young age, and lots of counselors and therapists and gratitude journaling had been recommended to me for probably at least for 10 years before I ever tried it. And I just poo-pooed it, thought like, oh, that's not manly. You know, I'm going to sit with my little princess diary and, my pink pen and, trolls on the end and supposed to write down what I'm grateful for. I just tried to write down 3 things I was grateful for. And it was hard. But I kept at it until the 3 became 5, and that became 10, and then I found out I was looking for things to be grateful for, and the momentum of that good vibration, like, oh my God, this stuff works.
In bitter seasons, stillness means not running away or giving up. My practice involves a few daily rituals I've developed over years that keeps me progressing and at my best.
I write, I am magnificent and awesome. And then the first time I were like, that's silly, I can't write that. I'm like, now it's my favorite thing to write down. One of the big challenges for me and for a lot of men, we're taught that it's more important to be right than to be happy. More people die by suicide than war and homicide combined. Suicide is so prevalent, it's almost continuous. Someone dies by suicide in the world every 43 seconds. There was something beyond me, keeping me here. And all the things that I thought were weaknesses, why I couldn't go through with something, were actually my strengths. My emotions, my vulnerability, my authenticity, my compassion, my empathy are all superpowers. And they can help me serve lots of people, but first, myself, right?
We have these ideas that these things are stupid or they're weak. And I mentioned in one of my episodes, empathy, authenticity, compassion, self-love, those are all very associated with weakness.
Trust your experience as opposed to someone else's opinion about something.
One of the biggest shifts came after multiple suicide attempts that maybe, just maybe, I'm supposed to be here. I've learned that the more I share my struggles and experiences, the better for me and others.
On the other side of a good cry is always a better feeling. And it's called a good cry because they're good for us, right? I'd been taught growing up that I was at the mercy of my brain chemistry. Not that it was a thought and it can be changed, right? I find that happiness is usually the response to something external, while joy is a state of being. If someone's alone, feeling horrible, all of those emotions and thoughts need to be expressed. If they just stay alone in your head, ruminating, going in circles, that's the worst place to be. And the thought is horribly common, but making a plan and having the ability to take action on that plan, that's when it gets really is crossing a line, and now this is an emergency situation. So just be willing to be honest with that. The most empowering thing the best support I ever get from people is they're just willing to just be present with me, stay there. Give me a hug, right? Having all my darkness laid out on the table, witnessed by another being who chose to stay. That's all I needed in many moments. And where, besides suicide, is a cry for help heard and ignored? If someone's drowning or someone's on fire, help, help. Oh, they're just crying for help. They'll figure itself out. They can take care of themselves. They just want to, that woman on fire, she just wants attention. I meet so many people that tell me, I've never told anyone this, but I've made an attempt or I've seriously considered it. And again, I've only met 2 people in my life that claim they never had a suicidal thought. I've sent guys to square dancing classes. I've sent guys bowling. I've sent people to do all sorts of things just so that they could be horrible at something and have a laugh and, again, see that, wow, that failure can be fun. Once I loved myself, I don't need to change my mood. I don't need to alter anything. I find over and over again that the best way to prevent suicide is to talk about suicide. I am divinity. You are divinity, right? Every listener is divine. We are not mistakes. We're not just meat suits. We are not random chemical reactions. We are all God in physical form.